Hey everyone, Joe here. Today I got a short gear review for you. I had the Fotodiox macro extension tube set. Now, this is going to be a short review, so at the end of the video I'm going to talk a little bit about these extension tubes, why you may not want them, to let you figure out if they're right for you or not. So, let's hop in here and get started. These Fotodiox ones I got here come with three different tubes in it. They come with a 7mm, a 14mm, and a 28. So it is a 5-piece set because the lens mount and the camera mount parts come loose. Now I have the 7mm actually stuck on this one because I tightened it too tight. That's something you may want to watch out for. That's the one downside about these is they are, you screw them together, screw them apart, instead of just easily clicking them off, but you get what you pay for. Overall, it's not too bad. These are aluminum, machined, and anodized or painted. I'm not really sure at the moment. They look kind of like a little both. They're probably painted. And overall, they fit fairly decent. Now, a lot of people have complained about the base of this thing fitting a little loose on the camera. Well, a lot of your lenses don't actually fit perfectly tight. But these, this being lighter, it's probably more noticeable for you. And I heard a few people talking about they felt like when they put the lens on this, it felt like it was grinding. Now, I've noticed on here the base is machined fairly nice. However, the holes here, what they have like a little bit of burrs on them. And what that is actually like sharp edges. If it had been me designing these, I would have had the machining, the CNC machine actually put a small chamfer in those holes, prevent any kind of burrs, a little small, just barely tap it. Because if you look in here really close, you won't be able to see this on the camera. There is a slight, small, sharp edges on these four little holes that the screws were put in to actually hold it on here. So that's kind of a downside. Mine, however, doesn't grind, so they're not really that big of a deal to me. And but overall, does it feel kind of sturdy? It is. It's got a little lock here, and overall, it goes in the camera, fairly nice. Now I'll put these on here. I have one lens here. It goes on. You got the little red dot. It goes on, locks in. As you can see, it stays on the T3i here pretty good. Now I have a 50mm STM. I'm going to talk about STM Lens in just a moment. Red dot to red dot, it goes on pretty good. Alright. So overall, the build quality on these is actually fair. It's not fantastic, and I'll explain. While the 7mm actually looks pretty decent on here, by the time you put on the other extension tubes, your lens could be upside down. This is an issue if you have a pedal type hood. If you have a pedal type hood, and it's turning this direction, and your sensor's this direction, then you're going to have a lot of shadow and stuff, and it's not going to show up correctly on your lens. So that is a big downside to it. So if you use a pedal type hood with your lens, you may have to take it off. And so that's one thing. Another thing, which isn't the fault of the macro extension tubes, I mentioned you cannot use a STM lens on these, and I'm going to explain why. An STM lens uses what's called a fly-by-wire autofocus system. What this means is the actual focusing ring is not coupled to anything. It has sensors in it that detect when you turn it. It then tells the computer chip in here that relays the information to the camera, which then the camera tells if it's an autofocus ready or not. No, to actually move the focusing motor on it to let you manually focus. So it's a fly-by-wire, and therefore no matter how much you turn this focusing ring with these macro tubes, it will not change. So that's something to consider. Another thing, I had got these. Now a lot of people probably have been hearing me talk about some wide-angle macro photography. I had got these in the hopes that I could use these with my Rokinon 14mm here. And because this is the type of lens that you really want to use these with. Because this lens has a manual aperture and it's manual focusing. So it's ideal for this, However, the focusing distance, I knew that around 24 millimeter, you could use up to a 12 millimeter extension tube, and it will still work. However, so I thought these are 7 millimeter. Maybe there was a chance I could use it with a 14 millimeter lens. No dice. It will not focus whatsoever. Well, it's saying it. No matter how much I turn the focusing ring, there's no way to actually focus it. It's just too far away from the camera to get focus. So, no go there. I tried. Good thing is this lens still gets pretty close. So, that's not a fault to these. That's a fault to me. So, don't blame these on that. But overall, the construction on these is, pretty good. I'm not real fond of the whole screw them together, screw them apart thing. But you get what you pay for, and it is kind of really customizable. You can take a 7 and put on a 14 here that have a 21, or you can take them both off and just have just a 28, or you can have a 28 plus the 7, or 28 plus the 14, or put them all together. And I'm going to explain how these work now. Now, what it does, for example, this lens has about a 1 foot focusing distance. These lenses don't help make anything bigger. What they allow you to do is focus in closer. So, for example, let's just throw these on here together for demonstration purposes. Alright, get the right one locked in. And let's put these on the camera. Find my red dot here. Okay. So, for example, your normal focusing distance, say 1 foot. Now, with these tubes, you can even get in closer. So, that whole thing of getting in closer is what will actually give you a much, more zoomed in look. Now, I mentioned again, you cannot use those extension tubes with any Canon STM lens, or any lens for that matter that uses a fly-by-wire focusing system. So, keep that in mind. But overall, not too bad. Is it worth $20? Heck yeah. They're good to go for $20. And if you're going to use a manual lens, like a manual aperture lens, like say the Rokinon Samyang 100mm macro, which I'm really considering getting, then those are perfect. Save the money, get those. However, if you need stuff like autofocus, image stabilization, want to be able to control your aperture from inside your camera on the go, then you're probably going to want the more expensive ones from Nikon or Canon that actually have the electrical connectors inside them. So that's it about these. Like I said, these are the Fotodiox ones. Not too bad. Well worth $20. And overall, pretty decent. So if you like these, are considering getting them, check them Amazon affiliate link down the bottom. Like I said, if you do not use them STM lens, you've been warned. I knew they wouldn't work, but I wanted to point that out to everybody. So I didn't want anybody buying them and think, hey, I got an STM lens, but it ain't working. It's not. So keep that in mind. But if you like this video, big thumbs up. Thumbs up is always highly appreciated. If you're not a subscriber yet, be sure to subscribe. Subscribe is free. It's for you, and lets you know when I release more videos. And until the next time, everyone, thank you for watching.